Hi gang, so I have an exciting video for you today. I'm going to be showing you how to turn Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina Pro Pigment palettes into magnetic palettes. So this is the palette. As you can see, it's got a different color scheme than it originally came with. I kind of played around with the arrangement of the shadows because now it's magnetic. I can rearrange them however I like. And as you can see, nothing's falling out. So I've managed to create magnetic wells for this particular eyeshadow palette. If you can see that right here, that is a square piece of magnet placed into the well, and the shadows can be removed easily and replaced into whichever position you like it. So there we go. I did watch another tutorial by Rainbow of Makeup. I'll link the channel down below. They had done a version where they turned this entire base into the magnetic portion, so you would just be able to stick your shadows into the palette just like that. And this frame that has the wells for the individual eyeshadows was pretty much destroyed because they used a flame, a lighter to kind of melt the plastic and pop out the eyeshadows. I also did something very similar to my Viseart palettes, the ones that did not have the magnetic wells, and that was kind of the earlier versions of their palettes. I pretty much lit a candle and melted the plastic in order to get the shadows out. I believe the Viseart eyeshadows were a little bit more delicate than these, but I can't be sure. You do have to be a bit careful if you want to create this particular version. If you don't really care for this particular frame, just go ahead and use a candle or a lighter and melt the plastic. That will work just fine. But this thing will no longer be intact because it is made of plastic. Once the plastic melts and sets, the plastic will be warped in whatever shape that it has melted down to. So what did I do? The first thing I did was I used a depotting tool and I wedged it right here in this area, because if you can see, there is a little bit of a gap in this area right here. There's a gap right here, and what I did was I pushed my depotting tool in there and kind of pried it out. Once I got into the palette, I kind of just slid it down slowly, loosening up the glue, I suppose, and the whole thing would come off. I would recommend that you do that close to a flat surface, because this blue frame is not necessarily very securely glued to the black frame. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I got these magnets, which are 20 millimeters by 20 millimeters, and the thickness is 1 millimeter. And I find that that has a good enough hold to keep the shadows in place. I will link the website down below. I believe it's called supermagnet.com. They also do have other varieties of magnets. You can get an A4 sheet, which is also 1 millimeter thick. And if you wanted to create just a smooth magnetic base for this entire area, that A4 sheet would probably work better, because yeah, you can just cut it to size. Secondly, I use the hairdryer at the highest heat setting, but the lowest speed level. Whichever surface you are heating up with the hairdryer, whether it's the back or the front, always do it against a flat tabletop surface. That is going to keep the wells in shape. So first off, I would heat up the back. I would focus on one square that I wanted to work with. I would hold the hairdryer close to the pan, but not directly on top of it, giving maybe a few centimeters of space. And I would hold it there for about 20 seconds. And then I would move to the front and blast the actual eyeshadow pan itself for about 15 seconds. And going through that didn't damage the eyeshadows at all. The only thing that would kind of destroy the shadows is if you prematurely try to pry it from the well before the pan is hot enough. I took a really small needle, as you can see it's really, really tiny, and I wedged it right at the corner of the shadow, and I pried it out. And if you feel a fair amount of resistance when you are trying to pry the eyeshadows out, just heat it up a little bit more and then try again. Because if you go into with too much force with the needle, what can happen is the shadow might start to crack. I can show you one casualty I had when I was a little bit too anxious and I didn't let the plastic heat up just enough. So this is the back of the pan of the eyeshadow, and it doesn't come with this sticker. I put this sticker here just so that I know what shade it is. And this itself is a metal which is attracted to magnets. So you won't need to use any sort of metallic sticker in order to get it to adhere to the magnets. So no problem whatsoever, it sticks just fine. And of course, once you have removed all the shadows, you can go ahead and glue down the frames back into the original palette. That's pretty much it. I hope you found this informative. If you have any questions, leave them down below and I will try to answer them. So that's it from me, and ciao for now.